Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Can you guys hear me if anyone's there? Hello? If anyone's in the podcast. Oh, hello, Crystal. How are you? Hi, Kathy. How are you? I'm challenging myself to come on tonight. I wanted to talk to you guys for a little bit and mostly talk about the recent trip to Nigeria and that portrait that got unveiled today and see how people are feeling about that. So, again, hello, hello, hello. How are you guys feeling today? Does anybody care to share? Has anyone seen Tina Brown or the portrait that was unveiled? Crystal says she's good. Good evening. Denise says she's listening and driving. I guess you guys can probably see. Let's see. Oh, this is very new. This program, so I'm going to try and respond in a couple of ways and see if it works. So let's see. I saw some things pop up. I don't know. So anyway, yeah. So I was watching a bit of the news today, and can you see my screen? I have a portrait up there. Can you guys let me know? Anybody let me know if you can see the portrait that's on the screen right now? It is a picture that has been going around of King Charles's official portrait. So if you can see the portrait, would somebody please let me know? Yes and yes. Okay. So is this your first time seeing this portrait? I saw the portrait being unveiled after the fact, and I was just like blown away. Can you imagine? Like, so this portrait. Crystal Scott says, "Yeah, I'm tired, but here and the portrait looks just like the devil that Chuck is." I know. I was like, "What in the world?" To have the nerve, like, and I'm not saying that the artist was wrong at all, but to know that you have to present that portrait to the world and you'll be standing there next to the guy as you unveil this official portrait that is going to go down in history. I mean, how many of you think that something's going to happen to this portrait and it will end up in a fire or in a flood and never be seen again? That's my working thesis because I can't imagine. And then I thought about some of the like official portraits that I've seen over the years, like for example, President Bush's portrait, and then Laura's, and then President Obama's portrait, and then Michelle's portrait, right? I've never seen, I mean, I've never seen anything that looks like this, and I feel like going like to Great Britain, to the UK, I'm sorry, to the UK. I'd like to take a look at this thing, right? Um, so yeah, it is like, it looks like Dante's Inferno to me. So I was just standing, like, I'm sitting here looking at the computer and it comes up and I'm like, what in the world? Like, century ago, 2 centuries ago, the person who made the portrait would likely have been hanged, right? But to stand there and King Charles's face, what could he say? So Crystal says, I feel like the ancestors touched that artist's soul and he portrayed it as he saw him. Oh, like somebody touched something, right? His soul, they saw his soul, they saw something, like they saw his future. Maybe, I think some of you might be thinking, potentially, like, I think maybe someone saw the future. Let's see, the portrait looks like a sign of shame. This is as bad as Kate's portrait. Yeah, Dante's Inferno. Absolutely, right? Like, can you, like, even little kids when they're learning how to draw. I don't recall ever seeing anybody come up with something like this. This is like the slap seen around the world. He had to stand there and take it, right? Camilla likes it. Do you think she'll be joining him wherever he'll be, in a few years after the portrait when he's no longer physically with us? Do you think Camilla will be joining him in this space? And do you think that, like, Princess Diana, perhaps? That thought's coming up for me right now. Like, if Princess Diana can see, what do you guys think she might be thinking of her ex's portrait, right? Because I can't imagine. This thing just blew me away. And it's been like, so, you guys, I'm not one really to shy away from things that have been happening in the news. So the whole thing about the fee coming up in the news, right? And the check got lost in the mail. And then, like, there was this swarm of people like, see, I told you. And then, boom, right from the ancestors, the portrait's being unveiled. And it's supposed to be this moment. And that moment, like, it shifted the whole universe. Because Charles was assuming, I think, that he's going to see this beautiful thing, maybe with butterflies. And he sees literally something that to me looks like hell. Like, even the artist knows the guy's sick, right? The artist knows that this thing is going to be unveiled for the world. And the artist just doesn't care. Like, this is how I see you. This is how the world sees you. This is, like, and another thing, can you think about how the artist must have been feeling as they were, like, and I'm thinking about Jackson Pollock, how he threw paint on the canvas. Like, it looks like this paint was put on this canvas with such rage. These are not gentle strokes. These are, like, strokes that look absolutely violent. And I'm here for it right now. I'm just like, with everything that you guys have been doing, to Duchess Meghan, and before Duchess Meghan, right? To Princess Diana, you took away her security, knowing that the paparazzi was after her. You took away Harry's security and security for his children, knowing what could happen. And today I heard something announced, and you guys let me know if I'm right. Like, if somebody doesn't mind, like, but I saw whispers in the media about them talking about Meghan and Harry not being able to visit Commonwealth countries. Like, for real? Is that a thing? And so, let's see, Crystal says, exactly, the artist brought it to life. Yeah, like, that rage, and if you could see me, I'm my arm is flicking paint, or something that feels like paint on the screen, and it's just like, those brush strokes have to be rough. And those brushstrokes are intentional, and those brushstrokes they're angry, it feels like, and they're cathartic at the same time, because this guy is painting his way into history. This guy is painting Charles in a way that is going to be remembered, because even if the painting gets damaged in a flood, even if the painting gets burned, even if the painting gets cut, even if the painting gets melted, right? If acid accidentally spills on the painting, or, nail polish remover, whatever, right? Some angry person, the artist's rendition of Charles will never go away. Like, that's something that cannot be erased. And so I feel like, in a way, that, the little people came back and they were like, at least in spirit. And then someone said the ancestors. I believe that. So we have exactly, the artist brought it to life. Read that. It's a sign of the future to come. Chuck is going down in flames. Marshar, hey! According to Milan Art Institute, Red is an extreme color. It's a symbol of power, passion, love, adventure, energy, and it represents seduction, violence, and danger. Yes, yes. We see red in fire. We see red in the body when it comes out after something happens, right? We've all been cut, or most of us have been cut. We know what it feels like and we know what it looks like when we see someone on TV. And for some people in person, go like experience violence. That red that red is something that is connected to our brains, right? And it evokes a sense of danger. It evokes a sense, for some people in some situations, of justice. And it can evoke, love too, right? Because love, the blood is literally pumping in the heart. But for the heartless, what does that evoke? Like, you have blood pumping in you. But I'm going to use your blood that's pumping in you, potentially for paint, right? I can also take that blood, and there was an artist a long time ago that wrote or that drew something called, it was a painting that they used the actual fluids from their body, including blood. And in India, I think they use that for like the color yellow. They use urine in paintings, and that's something that's traditional. So we don't even know if this guy literally used his own blood. We don't know. I mean, I haven't done that kind of research to find out, to paint this painting. These things may be made more clear, but all I know is that yesterday, when the news came out that the tiny check got lost in the mail, all this rage, I'm like, what am I seeing in the news? What is happening? What is happening? I've got to get out there, right? Because Meghan had gotten so much good news and so much good press in Nigeria. And so here they come. Crystal says, Marshara, it can mean those things, but we all know it's a sign of Chuck's demise. Yeah, I think it's all of those things. Good night, Mary Man. Hope you did your homework. So it just blew me away. I was like, all right. So this felt to me like a kind of justice when these people are stirring, and what's her name, Mackenzie something, who's always in the U.S. press working for the GB UK media. Schofield, is that her name? She's always out there doing these things, and then this portrait of King Charles comes out. The artist has captured, Jonathan Yao is the artist. He captured Chuck as he truly is. The portrait is the violence and evil of that family and its history. The red is King Charles III, the cruel. Ooh, that's... The artist took instructions from Trump. What? Camilla's... Oh my God, you guys! Oh my God. What if that was a real thing? Tampons... spouting blood from everywhere, blood coming out of Charles's eyes, blood coming out of his ears, blood everywhere. There has been a theme of blood in that relationship, though, right? From those secret recorded phone calls. He wanted to be that thing, that object that took up, that carried her blood, right? Allegedly, right? If the phone calls are to be believed, right? So we'll just say allegedly, but he wanted to be that thing. And here we are, like that thing that he talked about when he was married to the lovely Princess Diana, our forever Princess Diana. And now here we have that same thing splattered all over this canvas. It looks like he might have put some spit on there. There's some yellow that looks like that's in there. Could be some urine on there. I wouldn't touch that painting with anything other than a swab. And I'd like to have it swabbed to see if the artist used, some body fluids. Because to me, it's plausible. And Crystal says, yes, Marshara, that's how I feel. This is the essence and energy of Charles. Violence. Yeah. He is violent towards Harry, right? When Prince Harry showed up, the first time, I can't see you. I will see you for 45 minutes or however long that visit was, right? And I don't even, allegedly, I don't know if William even had seen him at that point, right? And then Prince Harry goes over for Invictus to do these great things for the country. And you can't be bothered knowing that if you're that sick, you're living in your last days. And this is the legacy that your grandchildren are going to see. The fact that you wouldn't see their father. Because you got exposed potentially in Spare. And we know that he left, 75% of the book on the ground, on the floor, on the cutting room floor? He didn't print the majority of the things that would have taken the monarchy down. He did the therapy. He got the stuff out and said, please don't print this, right? Please don't print this. I don't want my father to experience this. I don't want him to have to deal with this. So he gave him grace. And what does he get for giving Charles grace? I'm not going to see you. He doesn't want to see. I keep hearing these things and also in the media about the grandchildren. If Charles wanted to see the grandchildren, he has a plane. He can get on a plane and he can charter a plane and he can use a plane that's, I'm sure, in the royal fleet. He could have the military fly him over to Montecito to see his grandchildren. I don't know that that's a thing. Now, I can be wrong. But in my mind, I'm alleging that these things are true, right? This is what any grandparent of means would likely do that. Like, okay, I'm going to go see, I want to know where my grandkids are hanging out. I want to go and have lunch with them. I want to go and play little, games with them. But not him. So what do we have? We have, yes, this painting is Chuck's future and his now. Especially, when he looks into... Yeah. Ooh, when he looks into his wife's deeply cracked face, she approved of this painting? Did she see it? Oh, if she saw it beforehand and she allowed this thing to happen, you know what? It would be really ironic that if we found out that she was she's in that painting somewhere underneath all that stuff that looks like blood. Right? Because I've seen also in the news, things get uncovered from paintings, historical paintings recently, and I wonder if the artist painted her. I can imagine, I can hope, right? Can you guys just for a minute, take a look at that painting and imagine Camilla's face? What it might look like underneath all of that? That would just be artists are brilliant, right? And so why would the artist not take those liberties? We're not going to see it in our lifetime, but who knows, right? The artist could leave something secret to say, this is what's there. And maybe we will, because of AI and technology, there may be something that will be able to be used to see through the painting, if that is in fact there. You guys, I'm going out on the deep end, but I think it's plausible, right? Crystal says, Marshall, not the deeply cracked eyes. He loves that face, right? Charles and Prince Egg and Princess Shell refused to see Archie when he lived next door to them. Can you imagine? What? This is your legacy, my darling boy. This is your legacy. Marshall, Crystal, Cramilla's face, could have given Freddy Krueger a nightmare. She didn't age. I don't think that she's aged very well. And I think that part of it, right, has to do with the smoking of cigarettes. And part of it probably has to do with, all the energy that it takes to put out that kind of energy. What she did to Diana, not just showing up at the wedding, but talking to her on the phone and coaching her when she knew what she was doing to her husband. That's just foul. That's cruel. Diana was a girl. And, she died as a result of not having protection. And what did they do to her child? They took protection away from Harry and his children. right? I don't like there's more to it than that. I mean, allegedly, potentially there could be a wish. Because clearly when Harry shows up, we see how you treat him. And so what happens? The artist is treating you in the same way that you have treated people potentially, allegedly, your entire life, right? For your entire life, I don't know that I've seen you show up and do good things for people with all of the things that you have. Even if you don't show up with all of the things that you have. And the people, that's the people's money that you have. They pay the taxes. They made the sacrifice, a lot of them with their lives and their ancestors with their lives to uphold this kingdom. And what do? You treat Harry and your grandchildren as if they are disposable, and you understand that their mother died in a really brutal fashion, right? Could this potentially be, like, I wonder if it's inspired by Diana. I'm sure it's not. Like, she was such a wonderful person, and wherever Princess Diana is. But the artist could be inspired by how, Princess Diana was treated. Marshar says, y'all know I can't help myself. I haven't started Dragon Gate. Yeah, and you know how. We will give you that. Professor, she aged like, sour, sour curdle. That's, yeah. It's got to be partially like the people who are chain smokers often have like issues with skin, especially if they're chain smokers for years and years and years. And she may be still smoking. None of them aged well except for Prince Harry. What about the Queen? Do you think the Queen aged pretty well? I don't know that she was a smoker, and I don't know how much she drank. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, Prince Harry is looking like, I don't know how many, like, he's looking he's looking very fit. And how many of you guys saw the trend? We talked a little bit about it in our last live about the black wife trend and how, like, these men get these glow ups. And I'm like, Prince Harry could definitely be not only on the cover of Vogue and GQ, he could be to me. Prince Harry has the LEWK to be sexiest man alive. And that has to do, we talked about this a little bit on Saturday. I think that has to do not only with, like, him working out, him having suits and clothes that are tailored, him not having to go to TK Maxx. Not that TK or TJ Maxx, I shop at TJ Maxx. But he shouldn't be walking around with shoes with holes in them, right? And so Meghan definitely, like, gave him a glow up. But not only was it a glow up around clothes, I would argue that it's a glow up that has to do with being inspired by that kind of love. Because when she looks at him and when he looks at her, there to me is no question about how much that she loves him and that he loves her, right? And so let's see what Denise said. Wait, did I miss Kathy? None of the, okay. I think the painting is called Metamorphosis. Rebirth. Interesting. Maybe it was a message from the Trash Lloyds to remind Charlie that they know his reign started with the blood of Diana. Murdoch is telling him to know his place. Okay, Denise, what did Murdoch have to do with it? We know about the tabloids. Did he commission it or did he pay for it? Come on with it, Marshar. She don't get a pass. Yes, Mary M. Harry's the whole meal, right? Like, I know, I'm like, some of these guys that have made Sexiest Man Alive, no shade, are really nice guys, right? I think when John Legend got it, they were like, oh, he's such a nice guy. And he is. And I think Harry deserves it. Like, I think Harry should, I don't know how it works, if it gets petitioned or, like, if it's voted on. But Harry should definitely be competing for Sexiest Man Alive because he is. And I think for most people, right, men, women, and others, right, we want people, or often think that people who are taking care of their kids, that's pretty sexy. You helped your mom put in her new shower head. Oh, that's sexy. Oh, you went to the grocery store and picked up the laundry. Yeah, that's sexy, right? To me, those things are like, oh, like that's part of my love language. Not that you guys care, but like doing those kinds of things. Yeah. And like he loves his wife. And she loves him too. Let's see. Yeah, Harry's the whole meal. Denise and I can get down with that thought. He don't deserve no. Charles has just been like, he's been the perfect villain. I mean, like the things that I've heard in the media lately are like, oh, he walked Megan down the aisle. Okay. Like he was going there anyway? Like what? That says that he's compassionate? He walked her halfway because she walked herself the first half. And maybe she knew. I can't remember, there was a journalist who was talking about and warning Megan not to marry into that family, that this is what it was going to be. And they took a different path. They took the path that set them free in a lot of ways. She rescued him and he rescued her right back, right? They left. They said the tabloids wanted them out. The people, and when I say tabloids, yes, Rupert Murdoch owned press. People are underneath and behind those articles, right? But I also heard something interesting that I wanted to talk to you guys about either today or Saturday or maybe both. And let me know what you think about this, because this has been on my mind today. That the UK media, and by virtue of the media, the people who are reading the articles, the people who are, like seeing it, chatting about it, have been radicalized against the Duchess. You have this almost religious radicalization, allegedly. In my mind, it's my opinion that the people who are reading these articles, there's such fervor behind the hate of someone eating an avocado, touching their baby bump, not, like a check getting lost in the mail, going on a trip to Nigeria, being 43% Nigerian, that it's wild. It's beyond anything I've ever seen. I've never seen, even with Hillary Clinton, I never saw that kind of hate directed at Hillary Clinton. And like, I just don't understand it, but it feels like a radicalization. Does anybody agree, or what are your views on this? Does it feel like that the media is radicalizing in in a religious kind of way the hatred towards Meghan? And then I heard, Tina Brown, I think that was today, talk about, we need them. And I do think they do. I think that the UK would have been a whole lot better off, but that would involve people who are not petulant toddlers being involved in this whole process, right? Because if you want the spotlight, if that's your thing, you have to do the thing that makes people want to watch. You can have all the cameras on you all day long, but you are not going to be beloved if you don't do the things that are going to endear you with the public, right? And so they don't have the natural charm, and they also don't do the work. And so most of the time, people don't care. But if they would have used, Princess Meghan and Prince Harry, and that's her title now, right? We saw that happen. Then they would have been a lot better off. Let's see. Did I read this? I can get down with that thought. He don't deserve no sympathy. Okay. John has a nerdy, sexy. Some of us like nerdy. Yeah, I like nerdy. Rosie. Carmilla was never cute, pretty, or a plain Jane. She's always been evil on the inside, but just plain orc quality ugly on the outside. Oh, you just insulted the orc. Really, Marsha? Is she? Do you think she was that like unattractive as a younger woman? Maybe perhaps before she wasn't smoking. But I do agree. Like it doesn't matter how you appear physically. I remember when that whole Angelina Brad Pitt thing was going down, and people were like, "Well, he should be with somebody." I'm like, to me, that is just not. It's not attractive to go after someone who has a partner. Like if you guys are to, if you're that interested, do it the right way. Say goodbye and move along. But you don't hurt someone. And then Charles should have, in my mind, made sure that Princess Diana had her security. That was so, it was beyond unfair that they took her security and did not care that she was going to, what could potentially happen to her. And you can read into that however you want. I make no apologies about that. Because when you know that someone's being chased by paparazzi, when you take away the security, then you understand that there is a risk of something terrible happening to them. And part of that risk can be death. So, you have to deal with that. And potentially the artist was thinking about that. Like, we can imagine that, right? Marshar is like, Murdoch owns the Sun and the World News. At the time of Diana, I can't stand here. Rothermere owns the Daily Fail. And with Carmilla, they hunted Diana down, that's wild. And the fact that you have children, you've got two, as you call them, beautiful boys, right? And you understand their mother is gone, and now you still play with these people. You still play with the same people because you want your picture in the paper, right? I want my picture on the cover. Now I want my picture on the cover. Why do you always come on, dude? This person, this empire, the paparazzi, took away her chance to raise her children. And you're still going to hang out with them? If they couldn't make money off the hate, they hardly ever whisper a word about Meghan. Yeah, the radicalization, the monetization of Meghan. She is literally feeding the people who are targeting her. They are eating off of her. It's a parasitic relationship. And she doesn't have to do anything. These parasites come after her. And they want to be able to control what the squad does? No. That ain't it. And I know you guys, you have to hear it at least 5 times, 10 times every time I get on the mic. It's that Kendrick Lamar story, right? At some point, the people are going to take back that thing from you. At some point, the people are going to say no. And we're going to fight back and say, you know what? You don't get to tell us. You don't get to do this. You don't get to do that. We say, if all of us stand up united, which is what the squad has been doing, which is what, Tina and Michelle brought all of this together, named it the squad, for all of us warriors that have been out here for all of these years to protect people like us, to protect people who get hurt, to protect people who identify with, to protect people who identify as. And what can you do? You cannot take down all of the people because, these things can go away. And you know what? If we have to be radicalized in a way, or if we have to look because we're not radicalized, but we will fight the radicalized people. And if you take us down, we're going to have more that are going to pop up. Because we've seen people's channels go down for, I don't know for what. It is so scary. When you try and tune into someone, or you see a message on the bottom of somebody's page, and you're like, oh, they got demonetized, they got kicked off YouTube. They got silenced. So who will stand up and carry the flag? When this person sits down, when this person gets shut down, who among us is going to stand up and carry the flag so that our Duchess can remain standing, so that our Duchess doesn't have the same fate as, because we saw the car chase in New York, right? We saw that happen. And I mean, we didn't physically see it, but we know that it happened. And then what? The lies, the untruths. Oh, that didn't happen. Only to print a tiny retraction or something in a paper that says, oh, well, actually, it did happen. But the radicalization wouldn't let us see the truth. I mean, we knew what it was. But they erased, or they tried to erase it from history, right? Let's see what else we have. Princess Adamasi is a black woman who terrifies them. She's intelligent, extremely beautiful, and outwardly looks like them. Her mother's black blood is what brings them terror. God makes no mistakes. Yeah, because, like, Meghan talked about being an African American in Nigeria. And, like my mother, I don't think I've said this to you guys before. My mother was very light skinned, right? But even more than her light skin, she could pass. Like, if I never noticed it until my friends kept pointing it out. And I'd be like, well, tell her that, right? But like when I look at her pictures now, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess, yeah, she definitely had the phenotype, but she had the heart of an African lion. She taught us like how to fight with words, with deeds, and to stand up when other people can't, right? Yes. And so it does. And the Sussex squad also. Marshall, you bring them terror. Crystal Scott, you bring them terror. All of us bring them terror. When we fight back, when we talk back, when we stand up as intelligent people, and we take them down with the facts all day, every day. And they just sit there like they don't have an answer. Because when you are armed in that kind of way, with wisdom, with information, with knowledge, and you have the ability to put together sentences in a way that it's not only succinct, but with that kind of Kendrick Lamar power, right? What can they say? They better go sit in their corner like Drake. And now, in my mind, it is Drake's time to repent. It is Drake's time to stand up for something that is more than himself and do something for the people of Toronto. Do something. Become a better man. Like, dude, you're almost 40 years old. You're still out here playing with the 20-year-olds and 16-year-olds. That's not right. Let's see what else we have. The kings of Nigeria stepped up when the UK failed. Yeah, they made her like all the kings of all the realms. They came together and were like, yeah, that's our girl right there. I was like, oh, what? Like all the realms. And yeah, and that's what we do every day, right? We stand up for Meghan as princes and princesses of this whatever realm we're in, and we do this work for Meghan and for us, right? So, because it protects us, it protects our children, it protects our nieces, our nephews, it protects the next generation when we show them what's necessary. And what can they do now? Oh, she's not a princess. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Let's see. The kings of Nigeria stepped up. Yep. You answered my question about Chuck being any weaker. Yes, he didn't think enough about his kid's mother to protect her. No. Did he care? We are Sussex squad. We don't die, we multiply. That's right, because all the good we put out in the world, all the fight we put out in the world, they have to think twice. And now, like, I remember when Tina Brown was talking all that smack about Meghan. And I know part of it was hurt. They didn't want, I think she said There's a hole in our hearts the size of Harry. Okay. You can't treat Harry's children and call them, apes or chimps, and do his wife the way you did his mother and expect for him to want to be around you. You thought, oh, he's gonna leave her. No, like, I've never seen him as a child or an adult happier than I've seen him with Meghan. He loves that woman. Prof Z, I have to sign off for now. Okay, gotta run an errand. If the podcast is still on, I'll be back. Love y'all, Sussex. That's cool, Marshart. Like, we'll miss you. Thanks for letting us know. We talked about you the other day, in a positive way. So, yeah, because I'm going to show you guys. Let's see if I can pull up a different picture that I put up a few slides. Let me see if I can go to the next one. Can you guys see that one? Did the slides change? Let me know if it changed. Because this is the moment. My standing comment. All squad content creators are doing the Lord's work. I have no problem fighting the good fight. Yeah. Because that's what's required. Do you see I have the three kings? And of course, of Oriandara keeps popping up in my mind because that's the way that my mind works. But this looks biblical to me. When I see these three kings, I think about the three kings, and I'm sure that lots of people have that same thought. Like the three kings from the Bible bringing, the gifts for the baby Jesus in a manger, right? So these three kings, with all their power, all their wealth, all their influence, they can literally say, UK, you're not getting any more of our oil until you do right by our princess. Because I saw Ghana recently do the same thing to Switzerland, invited them over and said, y'all ain't getting no more chocolate. You get no more cocoa. No more from us. And so they have the power, and I think these people forget. They can tank, the oil economy. There's so much oil there. And so I think that if they are all putting her under their protection, they have the power to do great harm. And I know that UK had an energy challenge lately, heating oil challenge, I think it was. When let's say God, the ancestors, the universe put you under their protection, maybe that's why Tina Brown came out saying what she said today. Maybe that's why that painting turned out to be the way it turned out. And I keep looking at these UK journalists, and Angela a couple of weeks ago getting dissed on national TV, in the UK, on national UK TV. Let's see, it didn't change. Hi, squaddies. As I said, Princess Meghan rejected. Princess Meghan accepted. Whether rejected or accepted, Meghan is a princess by mouth of 2 or 3 kings. Witness, a thing is established, 3 kings. Yes. You can't see that? You don't see this image of the 3 kings? I switched it. It's like Meghan with a yellow dress and the kings in their regalia, if you will. Regalia. Anybody see it? If you can't see it, I'm really new to this program, so I'm learning. But yeah, it's a picture. No, it didn't change. Let's see. I'm gonna try it again. So do you see Charles? You see Charles, right? Hold on. Quick transitions. This is supposed to be on manual. Fade. Let me try this. Hold on, guys. 1 second. Quick transitions plus. Nope. Well, let me know if it changes. If it doesn't, I'll just tell you I have like. Did it change that time? No? It's okay? Okay, so I'll try and watch a couple more videos and see if I can figure out. You see a newspaper? What? Oh, that's wild. That's not. The newspaper is supposed to not be there. Let me see. Let me try one more thing. Um, can you see it now? Newspapers. Oh, that's terrible. Who wants to look at newspapers? Man. Oh, gosh. Yeah, this is going to get me distracted. Um, Audio, media. Nope. Image. Nope. The newspapers are probably still there. Yeah, I don't know how to get them off. I'm sorry, guys. I'll figure it out. But probably not today. So, yeah, I put a picture up of the kings, and I thought you guys could see them. That was the. You don't see the babies? No. Is it black now? Screen? So, anyway, I have like one of the kings holding one child and their two kids around him. And that's what's on the screen. I don't know if it went to black or not. Let me see. I'm hitting okay. Nothing. Didn't change. So yeah, anyway, so I'm like so with the Tina Brown, my screen is black now. Yeah, that's what I figured. Transition. What about now? Can you see that? It's still black? Because on both of my screens is the same picture now. Oh, that's terrible. Let me know if it changed. But yeah, like it's showing up on both of my screens as the transitional picture. Oh, that's terrible. Can you see it or yes? Is that a yes? You can see it? Yay! Okay, good. So I just had some pictures of like the kings of the realm. Perfect with the kiddos on the lap. And like, for those of you who've studied like ancient Ghana and that gold kingdom, like Mansa Musa and the gold that he was doing his Hajj to Mecca and made the price of gold drop so much, like he was throwing out billions and billions of dollars as he traveled from Ghana to Mecca for his pilgrimage. And so these Nigerian kings today have that same kind of wealth as Mansa Musa had, right? And so if they have that kind of wealth, they can still they still have a lot of power. And in the oil industry, in the heating, and they have influence too, because when the Saudis get together and they make a decision that they're going to like make oil do whatever they want, that's what happens. And so I think they need to be careful. And they also need to be careful about making enemies of the squad, right? So, because we also have power. We have power and we have influence in our conversations that we have. We drive the narrative. You see them talking about the squad sometimes in the media. Like, who is at the head of the squad? So there's that. And then, like, the Tina Brown conversation was interesting to me. Because it feels like now they've come to the realization after the tour with Meghan, right, going there, Princess Meghan to Nigeria with Prince Harry, a princess in her own right. Now they have this realization that they messed up. They abused them, and like, they want to say that it was just because, they want to talk about, Meghan and Harry accused them of racism. They never said those words, and I remember specifically Harry calling it unconscious bias. Whatever you call it, when you are concerned about the color of a child's skin, what is that? What do you want us to call it? What is that supposed to be called? Don't forget the fourth king was there, but in the background, Meghan's princesshood established by the three kings, but the fourth king represents that she's a global princess. Yeah, and I didn't see any pictures of him. I wish I wish that I don't know if he was just not feeling well, or because too, like when they show their faces, people will understand that they have that kind of wealth too, right? And yeah, I thought one of them was kind of handsome. I'm like, oh, he looks like a nice guy. Anyway, that's something for another time. But the fact that they all came together to say, you know what, we stand up for her, it felt like to me that in a way they were also standing up for me. Like if you've ever been in a space and you felt marginalized and you felt like, not that you didn't belong, but like people in the space didn't want you there, even if you had earned your spot there and you were made uncomfortable. Like, these are the kinds of things we need. We need to be able to stand up for each other in unison and say, hey, we belong here. And that's what these kings did. Like, nope, you're not going to do that to one of ours. We love her. And we've seen, if you think they're not watching the abuse, if you think that the world hasn't seen the abuse, you see the painting, right? We see the painting. And so that's that. Let me see if I can go. I'm kind of scared to switch pictures, to try and switch pictures. No, I don't think I will. I think I'm going to leave that one up there. But we had the like picture of Meghan with the three kings with the yellow dress. Like, I'm sure most of you have seen it, right? And so her standing there, I just like got choked up because it was like, you know, I'm one in a million and these kings have my back. Like, I felt like they had my back at the same time. Let's see what we have. I just saw something come up. From Crystal. I've never seen so many people obsessed with abuse and toxicity. Who in their right mind bullied out a toxic environment and think you will bully me back in? Absolutely. Like, why would Meghan and Harry decide to come back? To take abuse? Like, please come back so we can beat you up some more. You're beating them up from like across the pond, like from across on the other side of the world. From California, like, there's, I think, a 9-hour time difference. So when I go back to Eastern time, that's 3. And I think from New York to London, it's either 6 or 7 hours. So it's a 9 or 10-hour time difference. So you're almost halfway around the world, and you're bullying them with respect to time. And you want to come back. You want us to come back so you can do what? And, like, we don't even know what's happened, like, allegedly, in my mind, I don't know what's happened to Kate. I don't think they've done a good job explaining, like, where is she? Does anybody have any thoughts on, like, where is Kate? How, and like I said in previous podcasts, I've dealt with many family members who have had cancer, right? And they said that there was no cancer initially. So I don't know what the truth is. But if she has, like, it would do a lot of good to let us know more. Then if something truly happens and she goes away, is that better for the kingdom? Is that better for the people? To not know, not see, not have any idea. And then what will the conspiracy theories be around that? If all of these things are true. Like, it harkens back in my mind to that painting. If these things are true, then, and she ends up no longer being with us because of, for whatever reason, she has cancer, or who knows, right? Because you're allowing conspiracies to build, but then you're shaming people in the conversation to have conversations about the thing that you want us to care about. You want us to care about the Princess of Wales, right? The new Princess of Wales. And you give us nothing. You just say believe, believe, believe. And when people have these conversations and threaten to do documentaries, oh, you're bullying, you are, right? But our princess didn't get the same treatment. And it's really challenging to have a conversation or care about something when you don't really know what's true. Cuz I mean, I don't know what's true around this situation. Is what is like is this how sick is she? And is there also a mental health component? Of course there would have to be, because if you have cancer, your mental health is also going to suffer. Could this not do more good for the people if they knew what was actually happening, right? And so like all the secrets, and then like to I saw something also in the media today, the tabloid media, of course, that was talking about, I can't remember exactly how they put it. Oh, Megan was dubbed. Yeah, I was like, dubbed. She was dubbed princess by the Four Kings. Dubbed, really? That's what you guys are going with? She wasn't crowned. There was no kind of coronation. Just because it didn't look like yours doesn't mean it wasn't like a parallel kind of thing. I understood that if Megan needs help, that these four guys are there with her in any capacity. They're not just going to go out and, like I know Nigerians are very proud people. And so they're not just going to let their girl go out there like that without some kind of protection. And so just because you didn't see bags of gold or you didn't see these jewels, they don't need to. They own all of it, right? All these things come, that's the source. They are the source of the gold. They are the source of the platinum. They are the source of the diamonds. They are the source of so many things, even, lots of rubies and tanzanite, all of these things. Most minerals come from there. Why do they need to show off things that they have an almost limitless supply of? That's not the way they do it. And so, because it didn't look like yours, something that was pillaged from all these places, doesn't mean it's not equal, or it doesn't have the same value, it doesn't hold the same value to their people. Because clearly it does. The people of their countries love them. The people of their countries the people of Nigeria understand the wealth that's there. Nigerians may be the most proud people on the planet. I know in the United States, Nigerians are the most well-educated people in this country. So, out of every single group in the United States, at the top of that group, for the most educated people, are Nigerians, right? And so, they know, they have a lot of information. And they don't have to. And I mean, I'm not saying that people don't walk around wearing these things. But like, if you have, minds full of gold, you don't need to wear it to say that you have it. And our symbols and our things don't have to look like yours. We saw the crest. We saw all of these things. And then today we got to revel a little bit, and we got to think a little bit about that painting of Prince Charles. And I know it blew me away. And these things all tie together because, like, in the case of this king, when I see red on him, I see love. I see gold on him and his children. Like, okay, yep, bet that chair is literally made from gold. I bet the throne is made from gold. And the children that they're wearing things spun from gold, right? Because you have it in abundant supply. But, yeah, so I think we've had a kind of triumphant week. We had, one thing with this paper that didn't get turned in. I haven't seen a lot of coverage today. Maybe I haven't looked for it about the whole thing about, oh, Megan, I was like, okay. Yep, a thing happened. A check got lost in the mail. It happens. And I'm sure they'd walk the paper over or whatever they needed to do today to make sure everything got straightened out. It could have, who knows? Like, it happens, though. I've had checks and other paperwork get lost in the mail. You get a notification. You experience some upset about it. Like, oh my goodness, my credit card payment is late. Oh my goodness, my application didn't go in time. But it doesn't, that's all it is. It doesn't mean it, but you want to make, and then another thought I had was, who's going through their trash? To the point that they find out something like this, like The microscope doesn't even cover it. Like, what is it, an electron microscope? Every single little thing about their lives is on display like that. Like, you're looking that hard at them. Last time it was the Windsor tag on the dress. Like, oh, Megan's wearing a dress that it's called the Windsor. Like, who would ever know that? She might not even know that. I don't know, like, what my, if I buy a pair of Crocs or something, I don't know what the specific name of the Crocs are. I don't care. I just know that I think they're cute. Or, Birkenstocks, I think they're comfortable. Or, I don't wear Doc Martens anymore after I found out, allegedly that he was in the SS. I heard. I'm like, okay, can't wear Doc Martens anymore, but I used to like those. But yeah, I won't wear them for that reason. And today yes, see? So it was a big nothing burger. So all of that energy went into that. And then that nothing burger produces a painting that we all saw. Like, oh, you're going to do that? You're going to look at our girl's life to the point that you find out this thing. And then somebody got sent over, probably with a paper check, to arrive at that office. First thing, they drove to Sacramento to the governor's office, or flew up there, or not the governor's office, but to the Capitol, and turned the paperwork in. Like, okay, could have been Harry. I mean, I probably would have, if it was something like that was like that, somebody important went and did it themselves in person today to make sure that it got taken care of. And so now what? What are you talking about? I know I heard Tina Brown, again, waxing poetically about how much they miss Harry and how much good that Harry and Meghan could have done for that kingdom, right? Now working royal Sussexes get to keep all those meaningful, lovely gifts. Yeah. So, all of those things that happened for, Harry and Meghan when they were in Nigeria, but we are here, we are stands, we are going to be here for the squad, right? Because, like, who knows who Meghan descended, and one day she'll know. Who knows which king she was descended from before her ancestors got kidnapped from Nigeria. We know they were kidnapped from Nigeria and forced to come to this country against their will to labor in this country for about 300 years and suffer under a Jim Crow system that did not allow them to have. And then, communities got burned, animals got poisoned, highways got put in, laws got passed to say, you may not, you may not, you may not. So we're going on almost 500 years of this stuff. And now her feet have touched, probably for the first time in her line, have touched the place where her ancestors got taken from. And that has to have some meaning. When I put my feet on the African soil for the first time, it is a gift. Because I felt like, Kunta Kinte's ancestor, you old African, I found you. Because whether or not anybody else knew or recognized it, I knew for the first time in hundreds of years, probably since the 1600s, I was able to go back and touch the African soil on my own, without any apartheid papers, without fear of somebody kidnapping me or trying to do me major harm. And if you've never done that, if you've never touched the African soil, if you're descended from there, for most people, you're going to have a spiritual experience. And they welcomed her home to Nigeria, understanding that 43% of her blood came from there. And that's not one ancestor. That's a whole lot of ancestors who were in that triangular slave trade. What was it? Whether it's cotton, people, and gold, or tea, whatever it is. Cotton tea, gold, cotton tea people, right? So tea from UK, go to South Carolina, they give them cotton and they go get bodies, however that works. Like US is trading in cotton, UK is trading in tea, and the bodies are getting traded and brought in from the west coast, mostly of Africa. So for the first time in all these years, these hundreds and hundreds of years, she got to return, and some of her DNA will always be back there. Whatever skin she shed when she showered, whatever happened, some of her will always remain back there in that place after having that journey. And I have to believe that this is not going to be the first journey. I believe this is going to be one journey of many. When she goes back to, the motherland, as she called it, as I call it, the motherland, to be amongst her people, right? So, anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this podcast today. And I'm so glad that you showed up. I know I didn't announce it. I just felt like coming on after seeing that painting, and I really also wanted to address the paperwork that got lost. We can always stand up to what happens to us. Like, we are not afraid to acknowledge that mistakes get made, and we're human. We make mistakes too. And so, got fixed today, apparently, and that's all good, right? So, let's see. Mary said the UK royals made those gifts were personal note. The other working royals never received such a reception. Yeah. And they wouldn't, because they're not kind. You show up and you want to sit in whatever kind of carts above people, and you want to be carried around like this is the 16 or 1700s, to say what? That I'm above you? I don't think so. Not today. Not today. And, the crest and all those things, but being held and being loved and being showered, I can't imagine what that reception was like. But I know I felt it myself personally. Watching the coverage, watching her go home, it shored me up. And I'm like, okay, so when that thing happened with the paperwork, I was prepared. Like I said, I saw, and I'm sure a bunch of you saw that thing go out, like all the media, and it's just like a pylon. Again, the radicalization of these people. You guys have been like radicalized, like you say the Taliban and these other organizations, are, right? And the same, you have the same fervor, allegedly, right? The way you move has the same fervor. If you're looking and finding a tag for a dress, like, dude, you're really thirsty. Like, oh, I found something. It's called the Windsor. Oh, okay. Oh, and it was sold on, British whatever street. Like, let's say there's a street called Downing Street in the U.S. It was sold on Downing Street. Is that next? And then what do we have after that? The building was called Queen Elizabeth. It came from Charlotte, North Carolina, Queen Charlotte. Like, okay. If you guys are looking in trash that much, your hands are probably a lot dirtier. You stink, most likely. If you're looking in trash like that, it's you that stinks. So, let's see. Before we go, Mary says, I was in bed when I saw there was a party over here and jumped out to join. Oh, okay. Oh, is that what this is? Well, welcome. Yes, ain't no party like a Sussex Squad party, because the Sussex Squad don't stop. Yes. So, guys, again, thank you so much for joining me. I think I figured out a little bit with the slides. And I'm going to keep working and working to try and see what else I can do to make the podcast better. I'm really, really glad that you showed up. And I hope that all of you, take some time to take care of yourselves. Do something, make yourself a cup of tea if that brings you joy. Take a walk. Pet an animal. Do some things that bring you joy every day. Because this fight, this battle that we engage in, it is not for the faint of heart. And this squad, for most of us, it shores us up. It makes us feel held. It makes us feel like we can do this work. And I think in a lot of ways we were brought together by the universe. And, Tina and Michelle, of course, right? And so as you go out to do this work, make sure, like, if it's getting to be too heavy for you, step away. Tag a person, you got to do some more. Like, show up for yourself first. And if you show up healed, then you'll teach other people how to do that same thing. So before I go, let's see. Thank you. Great podcast. Keep up the good work. Absolutely. And like high five to everybody in the squad. I really, 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 really from the bottom of my heart, and I'm touching my heart right now, I appreciate you guys so much. And if you have some time this week, I'm trying to get the numbers up on the views for the videos. Not only because I worked really hard, and hopefully you enjoy some of them, but if you have any extra time, I would really appreciate it if you watch a few minutes of them. And I may come on one more time this week, and then on Sunday is when I'm planning to come on at the same time, 9 a.m. Pacific. So, until we meet again, squaddies. I see something about bullying back. There was so much going on behind the scenes, there's no telling what they came home with. Yeah, wait, you're still triggered as they don't know. As of today, AG says the foundation is in good standing. Now we saw that. Anything else? Let's see. All right, guys. So until I see you next time, again, take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. And, tweet if you're on Twitter. If you're on YouTube, watch some people's videos. And until we meet again, ciao.